Here are 8 lessons that I wish I could go back in time and teach my 18-year-old self. And Lord, believe me, my 18-year-old self, he needed a little bit of guidance at times. Lesson number 1 is that resilience rocks. And what I mean by that is when you're going through hell, keep going. Resilience is one of the most powerful things that we can develop, because every single person alive is going to face challenges. The only place on earth that I know people are with no problems is in the graveyard. Apart from that, every single human being on this planet has problems, has challenges. I like to call them challenges as opposed to problems. Has challenges that they need to overcome and that they need to face and that they need to go through. But remember that we grow through what we go through. So resilience is the ability to lean in and get that shit done that is tough. We're all gonna have to do it. So, you know, when I was younger, when I was 18, maybe I tried and lean away from some of that stuff, but now I've come to realize it's not about just doing things that are easy, it's about doing hard things so that your life becomes easy. The second thing is to own your story. Life is too short to be a passenger on somebody else's journey. Be proud. You are who you are right now. You were who you were back then, and that's absolutely fine. So don't worry about where you've come from. Focus on where you're going and who you are, but own your story. And what I mean is, you're not the actor. You're writing the script. This is your show. Your life is your show. So write the script, write the story that you want to look back on and go, that was a freaking good story. Number 3 is discipline equals dominance. If you want to have an incredible life, you have to have incredible discipline. I talk about this time and time again on every single video that I ever do, and I will keep talking about it until we cultivate bulletproof discipline. Discipline equals dominance. Get disciplined. Number 4 is values equals victory. If you are pursuing something worthwhile, it is only worthwhile if the pursuit of that thing is in alignment with your values. So we need to make sure, depending on what your values are, but loyalty, integrity, congruence, these things are lining up and matching up to what we're doing. If you're selling yourself out to get where you want to go, that's not success. That's not victory. Victory lies within our values. So when you identify what your values are, and your values is ultimately what's important to you. That's all a value is. It's something that you hold important to you. And so if I think it's important to be honest, I think it's important to be kind, if I think it's important to be adventurous, and I'm living a life that doesn't align with those things because maybe it's boring, I'm being unkind, and I'm being dishonest, that is not victory, that's failure. So make sure, step 1, clarify what your values are. And this is me telling my younger self, work out what your values are, Steve, and then live a life in alignment with those. The number 5 thing that I wish I could go back and teach my younger self was to master your money. I was very entrepreneurial. I'd be going out there making money, but I wasn't tax savvy. I didn't know how to invest effectively. I was just purely relying on hard work, but not necessarily smart work. I didn't delegate, I didn't know how to scale, I didn't invest enough into my education back in those days. So that's the thing that I would push myself to go and do is master your money, get better at it, because you could do even more. The 6th thing I would go back and tell my younger self is that connections matter. The people that are around you are going to have a critical difference to the life that you end up having. So I would have spent more time building new relationships, building my network, which I didn't do much when I was younger, and I would have spent more time reflecting on my existing network, and I probably would have let some people go a little bit sooner than I did. Number 7 is never stop growing, never stop learning. And so I went in and out of, I'd learn things when I needed to know something for that particular thing I was doing. But in between that, I wasn't necessarily taking time just to keep growing and developing. I didn't have personal development as a primary goal of mine. And whereas nowadays I will focus on learning something every single day. Back then it was too intermittent. Like I said, I'd pick something up when it was relevant, but I wouldn't necessarily do it otherwise. So the other thing that I would tell myself really is just to keep growing, keep learning. These skills that you're developing and building are going to be useful throughout the rest of your existence, even if you can't always see how it's useful for you right now. And the eighth one, 8 is great, is to be grateful. So to be more grateful, to spend more time practicing gratitude for what I got. I always had this feeling, which some of you guys might be able to relate to, is I'm not where I want to be. I've got to do all of this stuff. I've got to get further. I've got to do more. I've got to achieve more. I've got to have more. And in the process of that, I was forgetting what I already had. So I think it's important to be grateful and to help other people on their journey as well. Spend more time empathizing with others and being grateful for what I had in my life already, for the family, for the friends, for the businesses that I was building, and realizing back then that that would be the part that I would look back on and really enjoy reflecting on as well. So just practicing gratitude a lot earlier. When I brought gratitude into my life, my levels of happiness and satisfaction increased dramatically. So I guess I would just bring those factors into my life a lot earlier, given the opportunity. And that is the 8 things that I would go back in time, given the opportunity, and tell the younger version of Steve Doran to get on with and to get doing, because I think that would have been massively valuable for me.